Aloha and Tashi Delay from Kauai's Tibetan Buddhist Dharma Center, Kagyu Tupten Choling. I'm Lama Tashi. We have this class every Thursday night, 6 to 8 o'clock, and it's recorded and put on our website, kauaidharma.org. It's zoomed worldwide, and we react with our Sangha people all over the planet by telephone, email, and letters, and so forth. Most of what the Dharma is about is on our website. So in this age of separation, which there is really no such thing as separation, it's good to do a lot of seeking information. Some could be found even on YouTube, besides the news, I mean. And I recommend study, and the 3 books that I'm involved with right now, the one I've used for a long time is called Perfect Clarity, and it's an anthology of many different teachers giving the pointing out instruction of the essence of mind, which in these days is the most practical practice, which I'm going to talk more about tonight. In Canada, we have Lama Trangu Rinpoche in Vancouver, and he's put out 2 books that are very good for Dharma study, and he's stressing the essence of your mind to be the ultimate practice, and I'll cover a little bit about that tonight. Also, Guru Yoga, but you must understand that all of these practices, studies, actual meditation, all of that, each part of that supports the other. So there's no real high or low or better or less than. And the book I'm holding here is called Vivid Awareness, and his other book, Crystal Clear. So Trangu Rinpoche is most prolific. He's been my teacher for 50 years, and still very appropriate. In fact, I'm going to start the class with one section of this tonight. Tonight we're going to do the practice of Guru Yoga, how it's done in the preliminary practice. And I'm covering this because we have a large group in Vancouver who uses the Nungdro, the special preliminary practices, for their training in their group. And so they asked me if I couldn't do a section, cover the section on Guru Yoga, which is the 4th preliminary practice. And then I'll explain a little more about that as we go along. When it comes to the Dharma teachings, it's all about healing. The healing falls into 2 categories. Actually 3, but 2 primary. One is, how do you deal with the drama world, the drama mind, this judgmental nature that we have evolved with in the human condition, and the emotional conflicting tendencies that arise spontaneously with our relations with others and our environment. How do we deal with that? That's what we call the basis of, or the purpose for the practice. And understanding that all sentient beings are interconnected to us, either from past relationships or in the present world situation where now we have 8 billion humans and uncountable animals and spirits. The second category is how to connect to the true essence of your mind. We call it the natural mind, which is inherent in all of it. In fact, all sentient beings have it, but only humans can connect to it. And when they do that, they do it in the waking stage and with practice in the sleep and dream stage, and then in the dying and moving into the next life stage. Now, each of those stages are called bardos, or in-between states. And we'll cover that tonight with the Guru Yoga. The third category is actually practicing in a way that constantly brings the clear light nature of awareness into your present situation, just as you are, no matter how messed up things are in you or around you, and how to more and more use that as what we call the wish-fulfilling gem. Now, wish-fulfilling gem is true. The Dharma as a healing remedy using Sutra and Tantra in the basic practices of meditation accomplish that. And I say this truthfully because this is what I've experienced through 50 years of practice. So that said, before we take refuge, which you're taking refuge in your true nature with the support of the Buddha's teachings and the Buddha and so forth, you must understand, this is through Lama Trengu Rinpoche's summary at the end, that the practice is absolutely the only way. Without practice, you can study and be really intelligent and learn a lot of words and even be able to read the Dharma in Sanskrit and speak Tibetan and all that. But unless you practice, and I mean seriously, maybe an hour a day, 2-3 hours a day, or in retreat, which is what the world situation is right now, the next life won't have the remedies that are necessary for that bardo. We call the bardo of becoming. And when Lama Trengu Rinpoche wrote this, the whole book is a pointing out instruction in how to use the essence of the Dharma. Because the Dharma has 84,000 different methods or applications. And your mind has 84,000 afflictions. Well, that's a lot of stuff. So to cut through, this is what we're trying to do with these classes. It says, in addition to the practices of deity yoga, which is called clear light or called rainbow body practice, you have the practice of powwow. Then to the sleeping stage, you have the practice of clear light of sleep and how to use the dream state. Then the last two extraordinary practices are how to die and how to enter into the bardo of becoming and be okay. That's it. Now, those 6 extraordinary practices are passed on from the higher, we call the higher lineage. And we belong to the Dogpo Kagyu and the Shangpa Kagyu. The Dogpo Kagyu is headed by the Karmapas and Lama Trengu Rinpoche and many other lineage masters. The Shangpa Kagyu is headed by Kalu Rinpoche, and he's my root Lama. He's the one that got everything rolling in America and here in Hawaii and so forth. So it goes like this. In this day of infinite distraction, and we are practicing, we might suddenly encounter obstacles in our lives. Duh. But at that time, there's a method to avoid falling into the lower realms of samsara with your emotional reactive tendency. So these are the instructions that help one to maintain presence and understand that whatever arises can be used as the practice. Well, that's, as we said in the old days, heavy. So, the method for taking all situations as the path is simply to rest within the essence of the mind, which we are learning to be like space. And within this essence of our minds, there are three aspects that are useful. The first thing is to know the way things appear. Well, the pointing out instruction for that is everything is an illusion, and they appear spontaneously according to causes and conditions, which we call karma. So that's number one. Number two, the second thing is how they are confused and distorted by our judgmental habit and emotional reactive tendencies that we carry from life to life, like a shadow. That's number two. That's a biggie. Then number three, to go along with those two, how they appear and how we are confused, is how everything really is. Oh, so what is he saying here is that in your mind and in the world around you, there are two truths. There's the relative truth of how we are interpreting everything because of our emotional involvement and judgmental nature. That distorts everything. Everything we sense, everything we think. Okay? And then number two, how to deal with that effectively, appropriately is the best word. So that's the Dharma practice. Then it says, to clean this up, all we need to do is, as things arise, understand that they are illusory or simply light forms, whether they're in the mind or outside of it, and relax in the natural state of their appearance. In other words, with practice, now practice is the key word, you become less and less and less judgmental and reactive. And once these two habitual tendencies or karmic inclinations are dealt with deliberately in meditation practice, then the third one, which is what he's calling the wish-fulfilling jewel, the essence of your mind, appears more and more as the antidote. And then there comes a point where there's no more of the first two. There's no more confusion, and there's complete understanding. And with those two, you evolve. So we're like children, 8 billion children on this planet. We're growing, we're developing, and with the instructions of these lamas, which is the Lama gurus, which we're going to do Guru Yoga, we evolve. And when we evolve into higher and higher states of awareness, how to help others deal with the first two states of being a human. This is all about human, by the way. And the ultimate is to become mature, and the word for that is bodhisattva. And the ultimate mature human being becomes what is called the Buddha. And there's nothing beyond that. There also is no cap to it. There's no, you don't have to have a goal. You just learn to relax and that's it. I'll finish this by reading the rest of this paragraph. When we are naturally within the nature of our own mind, it is simply a clear and empty space, recognized as this nature. It is sometimes called the union of clarity and emptiness, and sometimes it's called the union of wisdom or insight with the great expanse of space itself, which is the world around it. When we rest within this and recognize it, now recognize it is actually two words. Recognizing, which means rethink it, re-acknowledge it, re-enter it. Because we're already doing that already with certain aspects of our mind and the world around us, but we don't really value it. We don't know how to use it. We go in it and we say, wow, that was great, and then we back to the drama, back to worldly distraction. When we take the afflictions, when we take sickness as the path, wow, this is a big one, especially with 170 million viruses circling the planet. When we take sickness as the path, without altering in any way, just rest naturally within that situation. Well, that means you got to take the I, me, mine out of the movie and don't treat whatever affliction as a disease. That takes practice. When we take the afflictions as a path, which he's talking about the judgmental mind and our reactive tendencies emotionally, we just look at the essence of each one of these as they arise. This ability comes from training in meditation. We do not follow the affliction into the drama that it creates or block it. We do not try to stop our thoughts. Instead, we just look at this and the thoughts involved with this as they occur. So that's the moment-to-moment training of meditation practice. Then, when we rest inherently in the empty essence, like space, of our own mind, then we are able to take that and use it for whatever bardo arises as the path. So we're talking about the bardo of awakening, the bardo of sleep, dream state, and the bardo of passing out of this body into the next life. Those are 6 bardos, by the way. The natural light of our own mind and the resonance of the Dharma, which is the actual practice, these two together allow the nature to appear just as it is and actually enforces our ability to rest in emptiness with anything that arises as an obstacle. Not altering them in any way at all. So like when we take sleep at the path, we simply rest in whatever appearances occur in our sleep from the moment we go to sleep through the dream states and so forth until we awaken. And we do this without, again, altering it, without trying to change it. Now, of course, in the dream state in Dharma practice, one of the extraordinary practices is to bring your Dharma practice into the dream state. For instance, we do Chenrezig. Tonight we're going to do Manjushri because that's going to help us with this class. You bring that into the dream state. Then when you wake up in the morning, you erase everything. Well, you do that at the end of all Dharma practice too, because you're not identifying yourself as the practice. you're simply learning that everything is illusory and to subdue your reactionary mind to the point where you can rest in this alternate state of your consciousness, which we call Mahamudra, but which is simply the clear light awareness of your own mind. Learning the nature of mind is not just the heart of these explanations. The preliminary stage practices and analytical meditations taught by lamas are very useful as methods to quickly develop realization while resting within the natural state. Resting the mind in its essence is also the essence of all the main practices of Sutra and Tantra and the resting meditation of Mahamudra called Kusulu, which he explains a whole chapter on Kusulu. Simply resting in the nature of mind without altering anything is the ultimate way to develop ultimate experience within ourselves. The essence of taking all situations as the path is also to learn to rest in the meditation within an unaltered essence of one's own mind. It's usually associated with the heart or heart chakra. In this way, all these practices come down to the same important point. The main method is to just let yourself settle naturally in the essence of your own mind, which is equal to the essence of everything that appears in the world around you. And over here he said, in this age, it is taught that distractions are so extreme and it is so difficult to tame beings, this means take your practice into helping others, through the vehicles of effort, which we call practice, that these teachings of effortless mind will now appear as the Lama's main choice of dealing with the relative world, the drama mind. And by the power of these times, if you practice these points, they are the easiest teaching, they are the easiest to apply, and they are completely devoid of error, and you can trust to that. Ta-da. Now I always put my book up here, because my Lama sits on my head. Oh, I see the Buddha speaking over the top of my head. That's kind of cute. Okay, now we're going to take refuge. The altruistic motivation is to bring all sentient beings, our mothers, to understand their true nature and how to use it. In words on the Dharma sheet, it goes like this. In order to retain enlightenment for ourselves and limitless sentient beings, our mothers, we now, all together, take refuge and use the preliminary practice of prostration. And I'll chant that in Tibetan. Dagdang Jowa Namke Tadang Yampe Semchem Tamche Tudine Junte Jisi Jengshu Ningpo Lachi Kibarnu. We do that in Tibetan to communicate it to the spirits inhabiting our bodies and the world around it. Then in the second part of this, we take all the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha as the three jewels, the refuge. And then in Tibetan Buddhism, because we're practicing shamanism, shamanistic Lamaism, we take the Lama and all the Lama's symbols as refuge. And that is, we go for refuge to all the holy, glorious Lamas. We go for refuge to all the Yidams, or the deities gathered in our mandala. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered the mind and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all this supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha, and we go for refuge to all the Dakas and Dakinis, who are the protectors and defenders of Dharma. All of these 6 refuges possess the eye of transcending awareness. And the eye of transcending awareness in practice is your ability to focus and imagination together. And that prayer chanted in Tibet. Alden Lama Dampa Namla Chapsu Chio Yidam Chokorgi Lakso Namla Chapsu Chio Sanjay Chom Dende Namla Chapsu Chio Dampe Chur Namla Chapsu Chio Bao Pe Gandu Nam La Chapsu Shio Bao Wo Kandro Chokyum Sume Sho Dishe Ki Shendong Dempa Nam La Chapsu Shio. Again, the Sanskrit is how we communicate this to all the humans on the planet and to the spirit world. The next prayer is a Bodhisattva training school prayer of the 6 perfections, the 6 disciplines. It goes like this. To the Buddha, Dharma, and this supreme assembly, we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained from practicing these 6 disciplines or perfections, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Then that prayer is Sanjay Chodam Choki Chodam La Jainshu Gardu Dagni Chapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Jipe Sonam Ki Jola Enjur Sanjay Jupar Sho. The altruistic motivation to bring all beings to enlightenment is everything we do in shamanistic lamas. Everything. It's all for them. Of course, there's no separation, so we're in the movie. The 6 refuges of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, Lama, deity, and protectors is our support, and they're worldwide. They're everywhere. The 6 bodhisattva practices are generosity, morality, which includes good manners, ethics, not harming self, others, and the environment. That's morality. That's number 2. Number 3 is patience. Number 4 is diligence, perseverance. So you can do this 24/7. Waking, sleeping, in your dreams, dying, in the next life, no problem. Number 5 is meditative focus, concentration. Single pointing, you'll be able to hold your mind on one thing for long periods of time, and at the same time use your imagination to produce what's appropriate. That's where all the Lama deities and protectors come in. The 6th is what I just read to you out of Lama Trengru Rinpoche's book. The ability to use the essence of your mind, your natural mind, not your drama mind, to deal with it all. Easily, effectively, quickly, with good result. You can trust in that. It works. But it takes practice. And whenever you do any of these practices, whether they be in the sutra, reading from a text, doing the mantra and all that, visualizations, all the prayers, everything, at the end of every practice, you dissolve everything into voidness at the end of the practice. And rest in that state. That's how we call it taking to heart, or Mahamudra. So that the energy, the vibration of what you said, what you thought and did in that formal session penetrates your stream of being. and affects the beings and world around you. That's a given. How is the transmission of this given? Well, you're hearing it. You can see it from this way or presenting, or in person from the teacher or Lama Guru, man or woman. Or it can be presented to you by the Yidam, the deity of your practice, actually talking to you, either directly or in dreams. Many different ways that you can experience this in a heartfelt way that changes you for the better. And in the process, you become more and more healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And what are you using to do this? 3 things: your body, your speech, and your mind. And all the transmission of all the lamas, Dalai Lama, Karmapa, Trengru Rinpoche, my teacher, Kalu Rinpoche, Lama Rinchen, all of them, they give it to you with 3 sounds. And these 3 sounds are actually 3 energy field vibratory programs, apps. The first sound is Om. Now, this is not just used in Tibetan tradition, but other traditions. Hinduism, where the Buddha took birth, India, that's used a lot. Ah. Ah is the sound of energy. Ah is the sound of the energy of your body in its true relationship to the world around it as a body of light, vibration. Yes, your body is vibrating, but the base sound is Ah. And what it means is you're actually a body of light. This body, as you think of it, is not who you really are. Remember the third thing? How things really are, absolutely, truthfully. So that's the Ah, you get that. Then it comes out in your speech. Mind, the symbol is Hum. It comes from the teachings of the Medicine Buddha, which covers all the topics that need to be the cause, pain, and suffering that needed to be treated at the root or the cause. So it's more than a symptomatic application. It works symptomatically, of course, with any kind of modality of healing, but this goes to the cause. When you combine these 3, the way we start in Tibetan Buddhism, and I'll say it's the way I started, when Kalu Rinpoche gave me the first day of instruction, was using prostrations, lay down, stand up, and bring the body, speech, and mind into one place. Visualizing the refuge tree as all the 6 sources of refuge, the support in the tree, and you and all sentient beings around the tree, which was growing up out of the lake, all laying down and standing up, taking refuge, while saying the refuge prayer, called in Lama Damba Nama Japsusha, that prayer. We take refuge in all the lamas, all the deities, all of that. That's the first preliminary practice. And what does it do? It accomplishes you to use your imagination, focus, and keep your body, speech, and mind in one place. Laying down and standing up. And so that's number 1. Number 2, the second extraordinary preliminary practice is once you've accomplished that, then the Lama says, since you are becoming a meditator, a bodhisattva, it is important to purify all these negative tendencies that you carry like a shadow from one life to the next, especially the ones that hinder your meditation practice, which is how you're retraining your body, speech, and mind. And so that practice is using Vajrasattva. or Vajrasattva in union with one of the 5 Taras. Number 3, to accumulate good health and wealth, we have what is called mandala offerings, which sums up all the methods of making offerings used in shamanistic lamas, which in Tibet boil down to simply offering meat and chong, which is their beer they made from barley, to the spirits so that you can get what you need to survive. That's appropriate, by the way. So that's called mandala, making mandala offerings. That's number 3. Now these are extraordinary practices. But what they do more than everything is strengthen the power and accomplishment of your path of skillful means, which means using the deity to be the Lama in union with you. And so when the Lama passes on the skillful means practices, he does it with these 3 sounds, Om, Ah, and Hum. There's 2 more, but these get the ball rolling. Okay, so I'll put that over there. And before we start the actual Guru Yoga, which is the 4th preliminary practice, we're going to do 1 round of Manjushri, this practice, which I've taught in many practices, many classes. And it's simply cutting through the ignorance of thinking you are who you think you are, that you are your body, and that you have a soul, and that you're solid, fixed, and permanent, and all that. It's getting rid of the ego. That's the sword in the sky, which he has raised like this with a Vajra handle. And this hand is holding the lotus blooming by his left ear. The stem of the lotus comes up, and on that is the Heart Sutra, which simply states, form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. Well, that sums up everything. But it sums up the 2 truths of your mind. The drama mind is your form. The natural mind is your emptiness. Form is emptiness, emptiness is mind. So you get a working relationship right away using this. Also, it gives you the knowledge on how to use your practice according to your lifestyle. What are you doing to, take care of your body? What are you doing to support yourself? What are you doing with relationships? What are you doing with the world around you? Like I do gardening, I do recycling, so forth. So all of that takes knowledge or insight. So this is like the Tibetan Google. It's Chenrezig, but in an app. The mantra for this is written at the top, Om Arapata Nadi Soha. So to become this deity, we're going to use this Om, Ah, and Hum. The Lama is Manjushri, or any of the other 1,000 deities used in Tibetan Buddhism, male or female. But the transmission comes through the body, speech, and mind of the Lama into you. Then the Lama merges into you, and then the Lama's mind and energy you have, and you use it in practice. And that's the D. So now we're going to do that practice. We're going to do 1 round of being Manjushri, and I'm going to give the empowerment. And then with that installed, that app, that you becoming Manjushri as the mind of the Lama, then you'll more understand the teaching of the 4th preliminary practice called Guru Yoga, which all the Lamish lineages do. Sit with your back straight, eyes in front, mouth closed, hands in a comfortable position, either on your knees or in your lap. Head slightly tilted forward. And visualize the Lama in front of you. You can use any Lama, Dalai Lama, Karmapa, Lama Changu Rinpoche, Kala Rinpoche, any Lama teacher, man or woman. Every Lama represents every other Lama, so Lama Tashi is okay. It's appropriate. From the Lama's forehead, white light enters your head. This is the first initiation. For you to become the deity in rainbow body form. So this gets you over the idea of all this subjective reality of trouble the body causes you. The second one is red light from the Lama's throat comes into your throat. This is lighting up your body, rainbow body as the deity with thousands of channels of light coming out as your speech when you do mantra. So that's the initiation. They say permission for the mantra part of the practice. Then blue light from the Lama's heart chakra to your heart chakra is the wisdom transmission. Then when you can see those three lights shining simultaneously from the Lama's three places into your three places, then you get the union, empowerment of union of the Lama merging into you. And the simplicity of this is it's like water into water. But you have to imagine it. Then Lama's body, speech, and mind, your body, speech, and mind in harmony, in union. That's where the word shamanism comes in. Then a white Om appears inside your head, a red Ah appears inside your throat, and a blue Om appears inside your heart chakra. Because everything needs healing, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because everybody is suffering 1,000 times more than you are. Everybody, every animal, every human, every spirit. Then you simply receive the union empowerment by bringing the white Om and a sphere of white light down into the red Ah in your throat. Then the red Ah down into the blue Om. Now all three are in union in your heart. And for this practice, that turns into the symbol D. Now in this mantra, the D is in the mantra, but this D is the vibratory sound of light itself, the ultimate nature of everything, the essence of your mind, the essence of the world around you, all the elemental nature, everything, D. Very powerful. Now you've received the empowerment, now we'll start the practice. Focusing on the D. You connect to the spatial awareness of the entire universe and all the beings in it. And you become Manjushri. This D is the creation sound of the deity in harmony with the entire universe and everybody in it. That's all. That's the D. Then you do the mantra, Om Aravatsa Nadi Soha. So we're going to do one round of that mantra. And it surrounds the D. When you say it, those letters are arranged in a circle around the D inside a 5-color sphere in the center of your chest, your heart chakra. And it'll light up your whole body and your other 4 chakra centers, head, throat, navel, sac. And then it'll radiate out through the body, the D and the mantra together, as healing energy to your area, to where you are. At the same time, you see your mother in front as the deity. You see your father, friends, relatives, lovers, everybody you have karma with, your pets, animals, all the humans, all the animals, is the deity. You see all the spirits in the entire universe, in the 4 categories of spirits, as Manjushri, while you're saying the mantra. And you think or imagine that every being in your mandala, filling your mind, infinite number, fill the entire universe as Manjushri, and are doing the same thing you are. Om Arapasanadi So. 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 Whatever you can see in your imagination in this mandala, you being Manjushri, and every being in the universe, Manjushri, it's Manjushri mandala, or just seeing the D in your heart center, or any of the letters of the mantra circling the D, or the 5-color sphere and all of it blasting light energy through your body, to every cell in your body. That's it. And with practice, it gets more and more clear, vivid, expansive, open. Om Arapasanadi So. 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 Nadi So. Om Arapasanadi So. Om Arapasanadi So. Om Arapasanadi So. Now take all of the sentient beings that you imagine in your mandala. If it was just your mother, that's as far as you could get, that's enough. If it's just your pet, or your girlfriend or boyfriend or teacher, whoever. Take all of what you imagine and dissolve it into your heart chakra. into the mantra that circled the D. Then starting with the Om, disappear Manjushri with the Om into the D. So now Manjushri disappeared and the mantra starts to disappear into the seed syllable D, which is three-dimensional. It's not flat, not 2D. Om, Ah, Ra, Pa, Sa, Na, Di. So all disappear. The D in a five-color sphere of light, in the complete openness of space, the boundless fabric of space, which is all the energy field of light, which is our entire phenomenal world. Disappears. Relax in space. Relax in the infinite light of your own mind, like space. Contemplate complete openness, space. Simply be present in this process. Past gone, future not here, present doesn't exist. Relax, no meditation. Then for the next part of the class, you emerge as Manjushri, completely open to the words of this practice called Guru Yoga, which is so you know how your prostrations, your purification through Vajrasattva practice, and the activity of making mandala offerings, how these work with the deity. They enforce the deity's compassion, power, and insight. So now I'm going to give the teaching on Guru Yoga of the preliminary practices, extraordinary preliminary practices, which affect all of the 1,000 deities of the Tibetan shamanistic tradition, and as it is taught by the Dakpo Kagyus and the Shangpa Kagyu traditions, which are my lineage masters of Kala Rinpoche and Karmapa and many, many, many other lamas. They're all equal in this practice. And it says at the start, the Guru Yoga, which quickly brings the disciple into accumulating the Lama's blessing so that he can assimilate and train others in this tradition. This is called the instructions particular to these two lineages, Dakpo and Shangpa Kagyu lamas, and are simply the feet of meditation, aspiration, and devotion together. The blessings of this lineage are great. So without any doubt, and with one more pointed mind, we recite this Guruyo. And it starts like this. On the crown of your head, you visualize the Lama as Vajradhara. On a lotus sun and moon seat, Vajradhara means the essence of all of the teachings, like a Buddha. On your head sits the Root Lama, on a lotus sun and moon seat, the powerful Dorje Chang, Kunto Zangpo, wearing the ornaments of the Sambhogakaya, the bliss energy of deity yoga. He is holding the Vajra and the bell in the mudra of union, which looks like this. The lamas of the lineages and an ocean of rare and sublime teachers rise in tears around him. O pervading Lord as a Lama, you are the true nature of all phenomena, which is limitless like space. Without a location, devoid of coming and going, without the characteristics of arriving and departing, like the moon's reflection in water, you appear there or wherever visualized. Conqueror of all forces of negativity, glorious Lama, representing the Yidams, Dakinis, and all the retinues of shamanistic Lamaism, I now pray with faith and devotion. Through the power of your compassion, which is without discrimination, appear here clearly. Arising from the citadel of the absolute Dharma realm, you are the very essence of all the Buddhas of the three times. You show that my mind is truly the Dharmakaya, all pervasive. With this, I offer my respect to you. I make offerings of my body, wealth, and all things imaginable, and give praise. I confess all harmful activities previously committed and in the present world, not to repeat them in the future. I now rejoice in the virtue of all sentient beings and dedicate this as my merit for a cause for supreme enlightenment for everyone. I pray that you not pass into neurotic states of bliss and urge you to turn the Dharma wheel of the insurpassable, sublime vehicle of Mahamudra. Just as the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have trained themselves in love and impartial compassion and realized the absolute spontaneously arising nature of their own mind, grant me your blessing so that I may realize the illusory body to be the teacher of the, or as the deity, the Nirmana Kaya. Kaya means vehicle. That's number one, which was Om, which you receive that empowerment. Grant your blessing that I realize all the vital forces of the deity to be the Sambhogakaya. That's the bliss energy of the deity. That's the awe. Grant your blessing that I may realize my mind to be Dharmakaya. That's the whom. That means you can imagine everything. You know everything. All pervasive like space. Grant your blessing that these three bodies arise simultaneously in and inseparably. Right now, in this place. Then you chant the lineage prayers, which are 42 lamas that pass this lineage from Shakyamuni Buddha down to your present root lama, which in this case is Lama Tashi. And they are all summarized on the next 4 pages, which I'm going to skip over. To my own root Lama, Kala Rinpoche, and then through Lama Rinchen, Lama Tenzin, and other lamas here in Hawaii and in my 40-month retreat, grant the absolute spontaneously arising knowledge. Now that is symbolized, that kind of knowledge is the deity Manjushri. With this rising of the spontaneously arising knowledge in my stream of being, the 3 kayas, the Nirmanakaya, the Sambhogakaya, and the Dharmakaya, are the embodiment of the ultimate essence or nature as the foundation of, of the path and result of Mahamudra. Kind one who points out my own nature to be this root Lama, and I'm going to say Kala Rinpoche, who is truly all Buddhas, and the assembly of Dharma protectors, Dakinis, and guardians, who are the lords of all Buddha activity, as well as the assembly of ocean of those who follow the Buddha's instructions, we call the Sangha. All of these bound by commitment, which we use the word samaya, I pray to you. I request that you grant me the absolute spontaneously arising knowledge. Without removing or adding, without rejecting or accepting anything in samsara or nirvana, devoid of everything existing or not existing, yet the foundation of all things, such is the ultimate nature of mind, the basis of the practice of Mahamudra, and the purpose for practice through the blessings using this prayer, may this now be realized. Without conceiving of one who realizes or a realization itself, and of a realization without abandoning what is observed, the obscuring and the obscurations themselves completely transcending a destination, a traveler, and a path, such is the path of Mahamudra, where the basis, the foundation, the practice, and the result are all the same thing. Through the blessing of this prayer, may this all become apparent. Without conceiving of one who obtains or of obtaining anything, this state of abandoned awareness is the attainment of not two and becomes the basis and result indivisible. Without existence, yes, having the nature of all existence, such is the result of Mahamudra. This perfect space of one's mind becomes the blessing of this prayer. May this spontaneous awareness arise as Dorje Chang and all the lineage masters, men and women, lords of Dharma, and all of the Karmapas who understand the 3 times, past, present, and future, and the holders of the 4 great lineages and the 8 lineage masters represented by all the traditions of Tibetan Buddhism. Those who attain mastery in meditation is the profound path of Mahamudra. The unequal protector of beings, the Dogpo Kagyus and Shangpa Kagyus, and to all lineage masters, I pray, I am following your lineages. Grant me your blessing so that I may attain in this life perfect liberation. It is taught that revulsion and non-attachment are the legs of meditation. To this meditator who has severed the ties of this life, who is without desire for food or possessions, grant the blessing of being indifferent to possessions and honors. It is taught that aspiration devotion is the head of meditation. To this meditator, who is continuously prays to the Lama to open the door to the treasure of oral instructions, which is what we're doing right now, grant your blessing so that uncontrived aspiration devotion may arise in my stream of being. It is taught that non-distraction is the body of meditation. It is the nature of every thought which arises, and every thought which arises now becomes new. To this meditator who remains in thatness without contrivance, grant your blessing so that meditation may be free of all intellectualization or egocentric dualistic fixation. It is taught that the essence of thought is the Dharmakaya. It is nothing whatsoever, but everything arises in it. In this way, all forms in space to the meditator sees them as illusory. This unimpeded appearance arises through practice. Grant your blessing so that the indivisibility of samsara and nirvanic states of peace and tranquility be realized together through the result of practice. With all beings of limitless space, now this is the main part of the practice. These are called the four manams. With all beings as limitless space who have been our mothers, I pray to the Lama, precious Buddha. With all beings limitless as space who have been our mothers, I pray to the Lama, the all-pervading Dharma vehicle, Dharmakaya. With all beings as limitless space who have been my mothers, I pray to the Lama, the great bliss energy of the deity, the Sambhogakaya. With all beings as limitless space who have been our mothers, I pray to the Lama, the compassion, loving kindness, and insight of the Nirmanakaya. So those are called the four manams, and I'll show you why. And these are to be said 100, these four lines are to be said 111,111 times, either in Tibetan, Sanskrit, or in the words I just used. Mana Gada Yampe Sem Shem Tamche Lama Rinpoche Laso Wa Debso. Marang Kada Yampe Sem Sem Samche Lama Kunchab Chuki Kula So Wa Debso. Marang Kada Yampe Sem Sem Tamche Lama Techen Lokshu Zope Kula Sowa Debso. Marang Karang Yampe Semchen Tamche Lama Tukshe Chupe Kula Sowa Debso. So I'm going to say them 3 times. Marang Karang Yampe Semchen Lama Sanjay Rinpoche La Sowa Debso. Lama Karang Yampe Semchen Tamche Kula Kuncho Chuki Kula Sowa Debso. Marang Karang Yampe Semchen Tamche Lama Dechen Luksho Chupi Kula Sowa Debso. Marang Karang Yampe Semchen Lama Tukche Tupe Kula Sowa Debso. Marang Karang Yampe Semchen Lama Sanjay Rinpoche La Sowa Debso. Marang Karang Yampe Semchen Lama Kucham Chuki Kula Sowa Debso. Marang Karang Yampe Semchen Lama Dejan Luche Zupe Kula Sowa Debso. Marang Karang Yampe Semchen Lama Tupe Kula Sowa Debso. With all beings of limited space who have been my mothers, I pray to the Lama, precious Buddha. With all beings of limited space who have been our mothers, I pray to the Lama, the all-pervading Dharmakaya. With all beings of limited space who have been our mothers, I pray to the Lama, the great bliss energy of the Sambhogakaya. With all beings of limited space who have been our mothers, I pray to the Lama, the compassion, loving kindness, power, and insight of the Nirmanakaya, Earth Teacher, Karmapa Chenno. Karmapa is the head of our lineage. Kalo Rinpoche Chenno, he's the head of the Shenpa lineage. And so whatever teacher you have, you add Chenno. Chenno means all three bodies together in one is the Soha at the end of your mantras, Vabhavika Kaya in Tibetan. That means body, speech, and mind, inseparable as the body, speech, and mind of the deity and the Lama used in practice. So this is ultimate Guru Yoga of shamanistic Lama. Karmapa Chenno, Karmapa Chenno, Karmapa Chenno, Karmapa Chenno, Karmapa Chenno, Karmapa Chenno. Kalo Rinpoche Chenno, Kalo Rinpoche Chenno, Kalo Rinpoche Chenno, Kalo Rinpoche Chenno, Kalo Rinpoche Chenno. Lamatashi Chenno, Lamatashi Chenno, Lamatashi Chenno, Lamatashi Chenno. Lama Rinchen Chenno, Lama Rinchen Chenno, Lama Rinchen Chenno, Lama Rinchen Chenno, Dalai Lama Chenno, Dalai Lama Chenno, Dalai Lama Chenno, Dalai Lama Chenno, Lama Changu Rinpoche Chenno, Lama Changu Rinpoche Chenno, Lama Changu Rinpoche Chenno, Rinpoche Chenno, Lama Changu Rinpoche Chenno. Guru Rinpoche Chenno, Guru Rinpoche Chenno, Guru Rinpoche Chenno, Guru Rinpoche Chenno, Om Ahum Guru Rinpoche Siddhi Om. Hey. Om Ahum Guru Rinpoche Siddhi Om. Hey. Guru Rinpoche Siddhi Om. Hey. Yeshe Soigal Siddhi. So whoever lineage master, like you could say Buddha Shakyamuni, Chenno. So from Shakyamuni Buddha, any lineage master of any lineage down to the present night, and even their translators like Georgiana Cook, Chenno, any translator, any major supporter of the Dharma, because it's all interconnected. So once you've said these four monams, either in Tibetan or English, many times in practice, then you finish the Guru Yoga with these prayers. I pray to the precious Lama, grant your blessing that my mind give up ego clinging. Grant your blessing that contentment may arise in my stream of being. Grant your blessing so that non-dharmic thoughts may cease entirely. Grant your blessing so that my own mind may be realized as unborn and timeless. So that means it doesn't exist, but it's there forever. It is and it is not. That's the key to understanding. Everything is and it is not. Grant your blessing that illusions be pacified in themselves. This is all an illusion. You're distorting it by thinking it's real, virtual. That's the new word, virtual. Grant your blessing so that my own mind be realized as unborn. Grant your blessing that the illusion be pacified in itself. Grant your blessing that phenomena be realized as the Dharmakaya, nature of the Lama. Glorious and holy Lamas, bestow on me the four empowerments that mature. Grant your blessings that these four empowerments enter my four streams of being, my body, speech, and mind, and all three together. Grant me the accomplishment of the four types of Buddha activity, pacifying, enriching, attracting, and destroying. Having prayed in this way, grant that this assembly melts into light and is absorbed into the main figure of the root Lama in front. His own nature is the union of all the rare and sublime teachers from Shakyamuni Buddha down to the present. And they all appear truly and clearly as the Lama. Then from the Lama's forehead as before, white light radiates and absorbed in my forehead. I receive the body of initiation called the base empowerment. This is to meditate on the development stage of practice and become a fortunate one to attain its result. Called the Nirmana Kaya. Kaya means vehicle. Nirmana means worldly. That's us humans. From the throat, Lama's red light radiates. They are absorbed into my throat, purifying the obscurations of speech. I receive the secret initiation, the power to meditate on the nadis, channels, and pranas within my own body and become fortunate one who will attain the result, the bliss energy of the Sambhoga Kaya. From the heart, the beams of blue light radiate, from whom they are absorbed into my heart, curing the obscurations of the mind. Now receive the initiation of the supreme and transcending knowledges, emphasized by Manjushri, and all empowerment to meditate on the union of my body, speech, and mind equal to the Lama. I become a fortunate one to attain the result, the Dharmakaya. From the three places, white, red, and blue beams of light radiate. They are absorbed in my three places and they purify the three doors of the negative activity of body, speech, and mind as a human being. In this way, I receive the fourth initiation or empowerment to meditate on Mahamudra, the voidness of the natural state of the clear nature of openness. I become a fortunate one who will attain its result, the Svaha Vika Kaya, which are the words Soha, Svaha. So that's when you see Soha, that's all body, speech, and mind all together like this. Then the Lama dissolves into light and absorbed to me. My body, speech, and mind become the Lama's three Vajras of his body or her body, speech, and mind. And we are now inseparable and of one essence. Like space, luminous, completely open, the three modes of being are spontaneously self-liberated, excuse me, into Mahamudra. Simply dissolve into space. Be open as the state of voidness or naturalness. This is the fifth empowerment. Accomplishment is the end of all preliminary and extraordinary practice. Ultimate realization, not accomplishment, ultimate realization. Follow the sound of the bell. Body. Speech. Mind. At the end of this Mahamudra stage of practice, we call it the accomplishment stage of tantric practice. Then you arise at whatever yidam practice you are doing, or do the 5 elements practice, which the 5 elements actually are symbolized in the stupa, which today we went to our stupa to do practice, because we have lots of time. The way the situation is shaped up here on Kauai. So the stupa, which you have many there in Canada, if you're fortunate enough, is a healing energy program. The base of the stupa represents earth. The bowl-shaped middle, which usually there's a door with the stupa sitting in it, is the water. From that point up through the gold stack, boom, they're called boomies, that's the fire. Then the lotus reflecting in water skirt at the top, that's the air. And the sun and moon at the very top symbolizes space. And there's a little flame at the very, very top. That's your awareness, developing into higher and higher states. So it's pointing to the sky, which has no end in sight. Okay. So at the same time, when you do the 5 elements practice, earth, water, fire, air, radiation, or space, whatever one of those you do is represented in the stupa. It is the mind of the Buddha. That's what stupa means. It's called churdra in Tibetan, offering of the Buddha's mind. Our particular stupa that we have here on Kauai is a stup ma, one of the few on the planet. It is totally a Dakini stupa. And we have Tara, a huge, big Tara symbolized behind it, and the way the stupa is presented, it indicates the Dakini energy, okay? This one's completely made of crystal. This was given to me in Santa Fe, Lama Karma Dorji. And inside is a mantra, and this top part unscrews. But this is completely made of crystal. But this not only symbolizes these 5 elements, it also symbolizes what the Om Ahung symbolizes. The body, speech, and mind of the Buddha, of your Buddha nature, as the deity. And then it also has 2 more vibratory sounds, which are learned from practice, that everything is equal, and that you have what is called omniscience, or discerning awareness, that is timeless. And you develop that. Manjushri is a great aid to get there fast. But discerning awareness means you discern what is appropriate. And then you only say that, you only do that, you only think that. That's this one. So these are Buddha fields that you are purifying in your own stream of being. And the elements which your mother made your body out of, and everything in the universe is made of these 5, are inseparable. When you tame your mind essence disappears into the universe. At that point, you and the universe are the same thing. That's called Buddha. Buddha can emanate any infinite amount of emanations to any planet, anywhere in the universe. That's called omniscience. It's not a big deal, but it is. So in reality, the universe is a Buddha developing energy field. Here on this planet, which is a reject planet, you can see that by watching the news, you're able to train as a bodhisattva. Then the bodhisattva training takes you through this life into the next life in the bardo of becoming. Then you again appear as a bodhisattva on a planet in a future life. It's not reincarnation, but it is. But your purpose for taking a human body is not to be enjoying everything that humans enjoy. Your purpose as a bodhisattva is to alleviate the suffering of beings on that planet in that karmic situation and bring as many as you can to realize their own true nature, which is voidness. With that kind of liberation, the spirits are liberated, animals can rebirth again as humans and become liberated, humans become liberated, become bodhisattvas and Buddhas, and it's an ongoing process. Everybody wants an end to the process, but the universe doesn't work that way. But at the same time, everything's impermanent. So your discerning awareness tells you, you don't know what's coming first, your next breath or your next life. And now that we have 171 million viruses on the planet circulating everywhere because of tourism and other inappropriate activities of humans, we can experience this. You know, we're all in retreat together now. So these practices that we're disseminating, you choose what's appropriate for you, what works for you. If you can just watch your breath, that's very powerful. So the Buddha is these 5 states of awareness. When you say everything's equal, that's the base of the stupa. When you say everything is in union or inseparable, that's the bold part. When you say everything is discerning awareness, that's these boobies of development through practice. When you say everything is auspicious or appropriate, that's the air element. That's what keeps you alive, actually. And then when you say everything is like space, that's the sun and moon. And when you're developing your awareness into higher and higher states of awareness, that's the flame at the top of the stupa. Now we'll finish the practice for tonight. Using the text. The first dedication prayer goes like this. Through this virtue of these practices, I pray that all beings without exception experience the undying state of permanent bliss. By merging supreme knowledge and methods of practice, may they all come to realize the equality of their mind as Dorje, Sempa, Vajrasattva, and Vajrayogini in union. We dedicate the merit of this as we travel through the inner Vajra world called the path of Mahamudra. May I be granted the stages of Buddhahood right now, in this place, at this time. The next dedication prayer. Kewadi Nurdu Dam, Shagya Jampo Drugir Ne, Drowa Chinke Malupa, De Sala Goparsho, Sonje Kuso Nempai Jim Ladam, Choni Maker Dempai Jim Ladam, Yandu Mishe Dempai Jim Laki, Shitar Goma Monam Drupar Show. By this virtue of having realized Mahamudra, may I quickly establish all beings without a single exception in that state. By the blessings of the 3 bodies of the Buddha, 3 kayas of the Buddha being accomplished, by the blessing of the truth of this Dharma being unchanging, by the blessing of the wishes of the Sangha being unwavering, may this dedication prayer be fulfilled. And the next dedication prayer is, by this virtue of having realized Mahamudra, may I quickly establish all beings without a single exception. May the bliss of their practice arise continually in their daily activities. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free of pain and suffering. May all beings be established in this bliss nature of their own mind and become emotionally stable. And then I pray that my Guru, who is the holiest Gyalwan Karmapa, known as the spontaneously arising Vajra of awareness, may he and all of his lineage masters have long life. May they arise soon in various human forms appropriately on planets and teach the Buddha Dharma. Moreover, may I assume the great responsibilities of this karma contact lineage and the non-sectarian approach to the teachings, and through the vast influence of my activities by explaining, studying, and practicing the Dharma, may all living beings be brought to true happiness. One more. By accomplishing the 2 cycles of activity, solitary retreat, and spreading the Dharma, may all beings together enjoy the richness and tranquility of these virtuous activities. I pray that you all remain steadfast in your practice. With love and compassion, share the thunder of the secret mantra that moves everything, and pour down the sublime Dharma like a rain on the fields of those who be disciplined. Without committing error about their aspirations and capabilities, may we remain and prosper for a long time on this planet. In these degenerate times, may we remain courageous in mind, never being afraid of anything, and have the powers of spreading the transmission of the Buddhist teaching. Exalted Lama called Rangjung Kukab and your lotus feet stand firm during this unfavorable time of the COVID-19. Also through the power of the 3 infallible jewels, and by the power of the sages and their prayers, and all my sincere wishes, may this and all prayers be fulfilled. May all beings' wishes be fulfilled in an appropriate manner. May the teachings of the Kagyu tradition endure for a long time and spread to all the ends of the earth. Glorious Lama, and your lotus feet stand in this world for a long time. May happiness and well-being come about by your activity. For all beings countless as space. May I and all of us, without exception, gather the accumulations of merit and remove the obscurations. In this way, may we be quickly established in the state of maturity called Buddhahood. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manobalaya Vajrasattva Denoba Dikta Judo Mebawa Suto Gayo Mebawa Suto Gayo Subhagaya Mebawa, Narajo Mebawa, Survacheti Metriya Satorikam Sutame, May all the loving kindness, compassion, and power and insight of the Lama and deity inseparable. May all be auspicious. May all the Buddha activity of the Dharma protectors and Dakinis, may all be auspicious. Aloha and Tashi Delay. Thank you very much. Have sweet dreams and be well.